to Chalone's Talk. My name is Uahuu, and today I want to talk to you about this book I finished 2 days ago. It's called More Than This by Patrick Ness. And God, where do I start? Okay, let me just start by telling you the little synopsis on the back. A boy drowns, desperate and alone. In his final moments, he dies. Then he wakes naked and bruised and thirsty but alive. How can this be? And what is this strange, deserted place? As he struggles to understand what is happening, the boy dares to hope. Might this not be the end? Might there be more to this life, or perhaps this afterlife? So this boy, his name is Seth, he drowns. Okay, that much is obvious. And this book, this is spoiler-free, by the way. I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler-free as possible because I want y'all to read this. I want y'all to read this book. So he dies, and then he wakes up basically in a different place. When he died, you know, if he died, that was it. And so he's like confused, and he's like, whoa, like what's going on? Now he has to figure out what this place is, what his role in this place is, and try to figure out a way to get back home if he can. And let me keep my mouth shut. Let me not say anything that's potentially spoilery. So there's, I want to say, 3 characters. There is a plus-size black girl. There is an immigrant Polish boy, and then there's Seth. He's white, but he's gay, so that counts for something. There's LGBTQ plus representation in it. And I also want to give like a trigger warning for like suicidal ideation, murder, child abuse. It sounds heavy, but it's okay. It is heavy in a sense. It's not as light as most YA books are, and I appreciate it for that. It didn't treat me like I was, you know, too young or anything. And actually, Daniel Greene, he's another YouTuber on here. He talked about how YA has grown with his audience, and I totally agree with that because YA that I read 4 years ago is not the same as YA I read 2 days ago. And so you can check out his video. I think I'll like link it or something. I don't know what editor Miwa will think, but whatever. But it's a great book, and it forces you to meditate on death. That sounds bad, but it's not like a bad thing. It's not like heavy or whatever, but it really makes you think about the afterlife, and if there is one, or if this is just a simulation, which, don't even get me started on the simulation. I know all the memes about simulations and stuff, and yeah, like I know the Gen Z generation is like, yeah, this is a simulation, but let me tell you something. This book really made me think about life in a way that I hadn't before, and death as well. It kind of made me go like, hey, if I jump off a bridge, like, am I gonna wake up in like some weird pod, or am I just gonna die? You know? Of course, I'm not gonna like try and jump off a bridge. Obviously, I don't know why I even have to say that, but I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna try and jump off a bridge, but I am curious. I do want to know. Overall, I gave this book a 4 out of 5. I would have given it a 5 out of 5. But I feel that there's some like parts where Ness could have gone like a darker sense. I felt it. let me get a thought. Okay, like this is some heavy shit. Like, dude, like this is dark. But he would never like take the plunge and just really go dark. Just be like, it's dark, but hey, this is why. I can't fault him for that. Overall, More Than This, 5. No, I'm such a liar. 4 out of 5. I really recommend you read it if you want to think about death and life. And also, I want to talk about Seth's character development, because the Seth I read about in the first few chapters is not the same Seth I read about in the last few chapters. He grew so much. He really took lessons from what he learned and he applied them to his life and to his outlook on life, you know. I felt like he really grew in the span of these 400 pages, and I felt so proud of him. I swore to myself I wouldn't cry, but there's one point, just one, where I was like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, but like a single tear rolled down my cheek. I was like, he got me this one time, but I'm not gonna let it happen again. I didn't let it happen again, but oh my, it is a bit of a thriller as well. I remember there were some points in the book where I was like, oh my God. And you know the weird thing about horror is that when you watch a scary movie, you can like cover your eyes and the scary thing will continue and then it'll pass. But when it's a book, you have to look at it. You have to be the one to further yourself in the story. And so I feel like that's such a funny thing about written horror that I never really thought about, is that you have to be the one to continue the story. You can't just be passive the same way you are with like horror movies and stuff. So yeah, that's just a nice thought I had. The next book that I'm currently reading, because I filmed this video twice. That was 2 days ago. Like right when I finished the book, I filmed it. The lighting was awful. Anyways, so I've been reading this book for the past 2 days. It is called The Priory of the Orange Tree. And I know some of you may have heard of it because it's quite a popular book. It's a fantasy book. That's really all I know about it. I'm like 102 pages into it, and so far it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let me give you the synopsis. A world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. By that, you can infer that the ancient enemy is it the dragon? I don't know. I want to presume so, because they talk a lot about the one without a name. That's what they call it, the one without a name. And also the dragons in here talk, which is nice. And one more thing, right before I started recording, I was reading it, and we got ourselves a gay character, and he's older too. He's like an older gay man, which is nice, because you usually always see like young teens that are gay, and I feel like it's really nice representation. Like elderly gays exist, and since they're not usually portrayed in like mainstream media when people choose to diversify their shows or whatever, so it's nice to see an elderly gay person, because you know, older people think differently, and it's nice to get a fresh perspective on gayness, on being gay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's really nice. And also, like, check that cover, my guy. Check that bitch. Check it. It's gorgeous. One thing that almost put me off from this book was the blubber. Like, can you hear it? You can hear how fake it is. You can hear it. And I feel like if I hadn't seen a lot of people talking about this book over the years, then I probably wouldn't have picked it up due to its sheer size. But ever since I read Donna Tartt's The Goldfinch, which is like 700, almost 800 pages, I've gotten over my fear of big books. And so every time I pick up like a big book and it's like 600 pages, I'm like, oh, that's like 200 pages less than The Goldfinch, I can read it. Or it's like 1,000 pages, I'm like, oh, that's 200 more than The Goldfinch, I can read it. But I kept the sticky on, just in case, because it is a high fantasy novel, and I'm not a fantasy person, so I was afraid I wouldn't like it. I told myself, read 100 pages, and if you like it, take the sticky off and you can't return it. But if you don't like it, you can return it. So I've actually reached the 100-page mark that I set for myself, and actually, no. Ooh, I don't know. It is good. I am curious. I do want to know more, so my fate is sealed. There's no returning now. Also, the cover is so gorgeous. And I'm so glad I found it in paperback, because I feel like hardbacks, especially when they get to be longer like this, they just get so heavy and it's so tiring to hold it up, especially if you read for like chunks of time like I do, because I read for like maybe 2 hours, 4 hours, and it really starts to get heavy if it's like a hardback. And so I'm really glad it's a paperback, because especially when you get to like the middle, you can like maneuver it however you want. And it's just like you can bend it and like really fit it to your liking. So I'm just glad I found it in paperback. And I don't know if I want to do a review off this book. And I only got one book this time, because obviously I knew this one would take me quite a bit longer, because it is like quite a bit longer. So I only got one book this time. But yeah, I didn't film it because I was there for way too long and there was too many people and I was starting to get nervous. So I was like, no, I think I'll just like not film it. But yeah, I think that is all for this video. I'm really looking forward to finishing this book and just finding out what's going on. I think I will do a reading vlog on it, because boy oh boy do I have a lot of thoughts and I want to get them out. And I like to do midpoint reviews just to see if my predictions are correct, or if I change my mind about a character or like a trope or anything like that. So yeah. Anyways, that's all. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's like more like a chill. And I've been doing a lot of reading vlogs. And I think that's just because I've been reading a lot. So I just, yeah. The more I read, the more I talk about reading. So I guess it's a no-brainer, but whatever. Thank you so much for watching my video. Again, my name is Uahuu. Go ahead and press that like button if you liked it. That subscribe button if you want to see more of my mug. Thank you. The chica got it, Lola. She feel like the ocean.